So, I wanted to quickly review the Pokemon Presents from 2026 because I figured that it was probably better for me to just do a quick unscripted thoughts rather than doing a reaction video, which I'm not going to be able to do as good as people have been doing it for years. Anyways, starting out, we had a little bit of an introduction to a portable music player, the Game Boy cartridges. I think it's a neat idea, but ultimately probably only for collectors, and I can't see myself spending however much it is to play the cards. Plus, it's kind of inconvenient to have to switch out the cards individually every time you want to play a new song. But, in a bit more exciting news, we had the Pokemon Expo and the announcement of the World Championships. I'm not a competitive player, and I don't really think I'll ever get into that, but I think it'll be pretty cool to see, and Champions is something I am looking forward to. Plus, there's a whole bunch of other events, and it looks like it'll be pretty fun, so I hope the people who can go enjoy it. There was also a little bit of news about the Pokemon trading card game, but I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know what it was supposed to be, considering it only really seemed to be advertisement for a future product without telling us what the future actually is supposed to look like. Moving on to the mobile games, Pokemon Go comes out in full force to once again crash the trading economy, which is always just so lovely to see when I don't play this game. I've always wanted to give Pokemon Masters a try, and hey, free resources is always a good way to get me hooked on something, so maybe I will sink my soul into another gacha game. Pokemon Guest Cafe, or whatever it's called, is certainly a thing that exists. I don't know anyone who plays it. And it's pretty cool that Pokemon Sleep is going full journeys by introducing Mew missions for some reason. Getting into a bit more competitive game, it's a bit surprising to me that Pokemon Unite hasn't had the legendary birds or the Johto starters by now. I get that there's only so many slots on the roster, but it's still a bit strange because these guys seem like they would have been pretty early additions. In the form of a returning game, Pokemon XD is coming back to the Switch. I played Pokemon Colosseum on this channel a while ago, and I never got around to playing XD, so maybe this will be a good excuse to finally get me into that game as well. Unfortunately though, I can't see myself playing Pokemon Fire Red or Leaf Green anytime soon. I'm sorry, I've just played these games before, and I don't feel like shilling out the money for them. Moving on to Pokemon Champions, I'm honestly kind of upset at the trailer we got for it. Not in a very serious way, but it just feels like we didn't really get any information, we just got a hype trailer, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that, because it really seems to be just a competitive battle simulator. It's not a huge deal, but I still would have liked to see a little bit more beyond just a vague release date of sometime in April. Speaking of adding no new information, the Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Dimension DLC sure did get a trailer that didn't tell us anything new. I don't understand why they did this, but hey, gotta sell product, I guess. Poketopia is not something I was ever really that interested in. I never played Stardew Valley, so while giving it a Pokemon theme might have been a way to get me into it, I don't really see any reason to get into this game. But it does seem neat, for what that's worth. But of course, we're going to move on to the final and biggest bit of information, the reveal of Pokemon Winds and Waves. I think that the graphics of this game so far look good. There was definitely one moment in the trailer where I noticeably felt, this looks a little bit rough, but honestly, graphics have never been a huge thing for me in Pokemon games, especially because they're all a very unique style, and I love the little battle pose that Pikachu gives you, which feels a lot more animated than what we've been getting in recent games. Of course, the other major thing to talk about is the starters, and I'll be honest, it kind of feels like we're revisiting familiar themes here. Brute looks a bit like Brewster from Animal Crossing, but we already had an owl with Rowlet. Pombon is my guy, and I will be picking them unless there is some significant downsliding when they evolve. And Gekwa is basically just Sobble, but a little bit more looking like a Beanie Baby. If you don't know what that is, then I feel old. Once again, I would have probably preferred to get a little bit more information, just then release date and starters, but it's also early days, so I'm sure we're going to get more as time goes on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and hey, let me know your own thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what people have to say about these announcements, and especially if they can convince me to actually try out some of these games. Anyway, I'll see you soon, and yeah, subscribe, like, whatever. See you later.